Article number 1 looks at physical exercise and its effects on the human body, specifically cardiovascular diseases. I chose this article because it looks at the importance of exercise as a whole and how it affects longevity. The objective of this specific research study was to research the influence of physical activity and exercise on different aspects of health. Specifically, it looked at genetics, endothelium factors, blood pressure, lipid concentrations, glucose intolerance, thrombosis, and self-satisfaction. Longevity is linked to exercise through telomeres. Telomeres are specific DNA structures, protein structures, found at both ends of each chromosome. They protect from nucleolytic degradation, unnecessary recombination, aid in repair, and interchromosomal fusion. Research has shown that telomeres shorten with age, and shortening of telomeres is bad because it can result in deterioration, cell death, and cancer. An increased incidence of diseases and mortality are also associated with shorter telomeres. Telomere shortening, however, can be controlled, increased or decreased through changes in lifestyle factors, one being maintaining adequate levels of physical activity. By doing so, we decrease the rate in which telomeres shorten by prolonging the onset of age-associated diseases. The final effects of exercise on telomere length found in the study were listed in the table. A few that stood out to me were marathon runners versus non-runners. Longer leukocyte telomere length was found in the runners compared to the non-runners. Lifters versus non-lifters. There was a longer skeletal muscle telomere length in power lifters versus non-lifters. And adults with stable coronary heart disease reported shorter telomere length. Article number 2 looks at the effects of exercise on cardiovascular disease risk factors and cardiovascular physiology and rheumatoid arthritis. This article was chosen because of the increased rate of morbidity and mortality from cardiovascular disease found in patients with rheumatoid arthritis. I also was interested in looking at the overall significant impact of exercise in patients with autoimmune diseases. The objective was through using evidence from systematic reviews and meta-analysis as well as controlled trials to explain the effects of aerobic and resistance exercise on cardiovascular disease risk factors and the cardiac and vascular function and structure in patients with rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis, according to the research article, is a chronic autoimmune inflammatory condition characterized by symptoms such as joint inflammation, pain, and fatigue, contributing to functional disability and having detrimental effects on the quality of life of the people affected. Some of the results from this study concluded that rheumatoid arthritis develops later in life, which coincides with the unfavorable structural and functional changes in the heart. This results in an increased prevalence of cardiovascular disease risk factors in patients with rheumatoid arthritis. Prior research has stated that maintenance of sufficient exercise dosage to achieve health-enhancing effects potentially requires a lifestyle change in this population, and thus collaborative partnerships are required with expert behavioral scientists and practitioners that understand the different barriers of people with rheumatoid arthritis to tackle the lack of engagement in exercise in this patient population. Therefore, it is suggested that proper exercise is beneficial in the progression of cardiovascular disease, even those diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. Much research still needs to be conducted in order to discover the exact pathways found in high-grade chronic inflammatory environments such as that of rheumatoid arthritis, specifically duration and dosage of aerobic and resistance exercise.